So you're gonna need something like a strap today. I've got a scarf. You can grab whatever is going to just extend the reach of your arms, t-shirt, pair of leggings, whatever. And then we'll go ahead and get settled into a comfortable seat. So we're actually gonna do a little bit of movement. So take your legs out in front of you and move around your torsos. And relax a bit into your hips. And then move around in the other direction a few times. And then bring your knees in, and I've got my legs a little bit away from me. I'm just going to round back through the spine and pull away from my legs, and then roll the shoulders back and lift up towards them. And go ahead and round and open a few more times. Go ahead and roll on your hips a little bit if you've got the space. And then start to come up towards neutral. And if you are a leg folder, you can fold your legs or leave them out in front of you. I'm going to take the arms down by your sides. And reach out through your fingertips and down into your fingertips and up through the backs of your ears. Starting to lengthen the spine and open the chest a bit. And then keeping both arms reaching down, relax your right ear over towards your right shoulder. Start to turn your nose down towards your shoulder. And move your nose down towards your chest. Go ahead and lift the head back up into the center, and then relax your left ear over towards your left shoulder. Softly rolling the nose down towards your shoulder. And then dropping your nose down towards your chest. Go ahead and lift your head up. And then place your hands in your lap, perhaps the palms face down. We're going to do some heart opening and some outer hip opening in our practice today. And the heart opening will hopefully also be this great courage and brave heart expansion as well. I was actually inspired by Susan asking a couple of weeks ago about the Bhagavad Gita and how strange it is that it seems like it's a story advocating war and violence. And I started to look into this and see, I've gotten some impressions and some ideas of other ways in which this can be interpreted that aren't directly violence. Of course, there are many, and I was looking into this, and something that popped up was that Arjuna, the main character in this book, he doesn't want to go to war because he's going to hurt people, and he knows people on the other side, but he knows a lot more people on his side, and he knows that they're going to be hurt if he doesn't fight. So he doesn't know what to do, and so he goes and he asks Krishna, he asks God, he says, should I fight or should I not fight? I feel like it's wrong to fight, but I can't abandon people. And the determination is that he needs to go and he needs to fight because he needs to protect his people and held up to his duty. But one thing that really stands out is that Arjuna is not just like a poet or a farm worker who gets called off to battle and has to like be up there to defend his family. He's an archer, a master archer. He also makes arrows, and they're like so beautiful that they are like pieces of art, like the kind of symmetry and sweetness that would take your breath away. And then to watch him shoot is just another art experience in itself. And so here is this person who's spent his entire life honing this gift and this skill to be able to do this thing that he now has the opportunity to do greatness with, and he doesn't want to do it. And so, of course, this is denying all of this beauty in his existence, all of these things that he's done in order to better himself, and then just kind of going, oh, nope, not gonna actually pull the trigger here, which is no good. And we all have different things that are more in resonance with who we are and what our passions are and things that we have done and we have developed, and we have honed these skills in order to be better crafters or humans in so many different ways. And when we lack the courage to pull the trigger on that, when we decide to sit in smallness, we are in disservice to everyone, including ourselves. So even if we might not be good at everything, there are things that we are good at. There are things that we do have consistency and practice and skill and some passionate, beautiful, fiery talents in as well. And it's worth bringing those out into the world, even in interesting circumstances in the world. So leave your palms facing in and take a few deep breaths, perhaps closing your eyes to help you turn inwards a little bit more. And just take this moment of gratitude for the things that you know that you are pretty darn good at. We're pretty darn great at. Ways in which you know you leave a good mark upon this world, even if it's just that you're easy to smile, easy to laugh. Maybe you're good at remembering birthdays or sharing sourdough starters with people who can't find yeast. Maybe it's something in your body that you appreciate. Next time you breathe in, draw the air in nice and full through your nose. Big exhale through the mouth. Again, like that. For 3 ohms. Welcome to your practice. If you've got your legs folded in or extended, you're just going to go ahead and bring your legs up so that your feet are out, your knees are quite a bit bent. Walk your hands back behind you. And then start to lift your heart up, letting your gaze turn up as much as you like. Just keep letting the heart float upwards like it's been inflated, feeling this chest space expand. Take a big breath in, a breath out, and let the heart soften gently. You're going to turn both knees over towards the right, and then start walking yourself out over your thigh. I often say go towards the foot. We're going to go towards the thigh instead. So you've got a little bit of a twist, and you should start to feel some release on the outside of this thigh you're moving towards. Let's take another breath in, and another breath out. And then start to lift yourself back to the center. We're going to turn the knees up and then over towards the left. And then you're going to turn your torso over your left thigh and just take a couple of breaths, having a gentle twist. Relaxing the outer line of that leg. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And then start to come back to the center. We're going to come down onto our backs. When you get down onto your back, bring your scarf or your strap with you, but just set it off to the side to start off with. You're going to take your hands back behind your head with the knees bent, the feet on the ground. And if your shoulders are really cranky, you can let them point up and maybe open them out a few times. And then when they start to feel cranky, you can lift your elbows up. And if that's really not serving you, then just go ahead and open your arms in a place that feels more comfortable. You're going to leave the feet out a little bit wider than the hips, and then let both knees roll over towards your right side and flex your feet, drawing your toes up towards your shins. Then press your elbows back if your shoulders are okay with it. Let your heart float up and let that left knee fall down. If your knees are okay with it, you can take your right foot and put it on your left knee to draw that thigh over a little bit more. But if your knees feel a bit unsettled about that, it's not necessary. Just keep pushing your elbows down and letting your heart float up. Take another breath in and another breath out. And then bring the knees up and roll them over towards the left side. And when you get them over there, you might have to wiggle your shoulders around a little bit. Press the elbows down, flex those feet, draw the toes up to your shins, and let the heart float up. Perhaps that right knee releases down just a little bit more. You could also think of that knee really reaching out and away from your hip. That will intensify that stretch. Left ankle is welcome to come to the right knee if that feels good and useful. Take a breath in. Let the breath out. And then come back to the center. We're going to bring the knees up, bring the feet a little bit closer together, and then open the arms out to a T, or maybe a little bit lower than the shoulders, but try to have the backs of the hands resting on the floor, even if you have to bend the elbows quite a bit and adjust until you find that space. And then feet are fairly close together to start off with. We're going to take the left thigh and cross it over the right thigh, and then let both legs go over towards the right side. And you might have both knees go down, but I often just like to kind of catch the twist with the foot so it doesn't go quite as deep. Then you're going to push down in the back of your right arm to roll the left ribs over and increase the very center of the twist, right in at the belly. This might roll your left ribs and your left shoulder down a little bit more open. Take a breath in. Let the air out. And then start to come back to the center. You're going to unwind your legs and then take the right thigh on top of the left thigh and take both legs over towards the left side. You might catch the right foot so that the twist doesn't get too deep or go deeper. And then press down into the back of your left arm so that the right ribs and the right shoulder open up, and that twist happens right around your very center line, the belly button. Softening the breath with every exhale, softening the belly with every exhale. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And then coming back to the center, unwinding your legs, and then grabbing onto your scarf, your strap. We're going to take the right leg up, loop the strap, the scarf around the bottom of your foot, and make the leg as straight as you can. go ahead and leave your left leg bent. Maybe you do walk the foot a little bit further forward, but definitely keep at least some bend in the leg. So you can soften at the front of the hips and drop the back of the hips down. So I'm trying to flatten as much of my pelvis and the cheeks that are not on my face down onto the ground. You might have that wrap up of your knuckles with your scarf and try to unhinge the back of that knee joint as much as you can. Take one more breath like this. Finish your exhale. And then you're going to take both ends of the scarf into your right hand. And you want to try to draw your right knee outside of your right armpit. Now, it doesn't have to get to your armpit. It just wants to go outside of that space as much as possible. And then if you started to roll over onto your right hip, which is common, it's a natural adjustment for the body to make, we're just going to gently try to release more of the hips down onto the mat. So thinking of a more balanced pelvis space, releasing the hips into the floor. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. And then start to release the right leg from your scarf. Switch to the other side. And you're going to loop the strap around the bottom of the left foot, probably wrap around the knuckles an extra time so that you have that extra support so that you don't have to use your fingers as much. And then maybe move the right foot a little bit further forward, but not too much, because you want to be able to really relax the front of the pelvis and root the back of the pelvis down towards the floor. Well, I could make my legs straighter. There we go. So we're really lengthening and extending the back of that leg joint. Take a breath in. And a breath out. And then release, taking both ends of the strap into your left hand, and you're going to pull that left knee to the outside of the armpit. So it's outside of my torso. I'm really opening up, and then the tendency is to roll a little bit too much over towards the left hip. I just want to try to seek a little bit more balance, maybe using the right hand to guide the right hip down. And of course, my right hip isn't going to be down as much, but I'm just trying to find where a little bit more balanced space might exist. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. And then start to release that. You're going to take the strap off, and you might decide to use this strap to catch onto your foot behind you, like so. You're going to roll over just so that you can face towards your screen, and then you're going to take your bottom arm underneath you. You're just going to lay on your side, and then your top leg, you're going to bend into the knee and either hold on to your foot, or you're going to take that scarf, loop it around, and take a little while, be kind of awkward about it. If you are holding the hand onto your scarf, you're just going to reach it back and reach your elbow back. So I am stretching out the front of my top shoulder as well as the front of the thigh, and I'm trying to make sure that my knee isn't pointing outwards and reaching down as much as possible towards my bottom foot. Take a breath in and a breath out, and then release gently your scarf from the foot or your hand from the foot, and then roll over towards the other side. You're going to lay on the side of your head, and then you'll reach back and catch the foot with your scarf or your hand. Knee reaching down towards the bottom leg, not floating up, and then you're going to push the elbow back or reach that elbow back, taking A little bit bigger stretch through the front of your shoulder. Take a breath in and a breath out. And relax. Slowly release that foot. I'm going to roll over onto our bellies, just coming up to your hands and knees for a quick moment. I'm going to curl the toes under and press the hips back towards your heels. You should start to get a nice stretch to the bottoms of your feet. Just one more breath. Exhaling. And then coming forward onto your belly. Lowering all the way down. Wiggling your legs back a little bit. We're on the tops of the feet, so the toes are flat extended behind, and the hands are by the low ribs. We're just going to take a couple of slow flows into a low cobra. Inhale, lifting the heart. Do reach those toes back. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, small lift of the heart. Elbows go back. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, long, low lift. Exhale, lower. Do two more on your own. Keep drawing the shoulders open. Pressing yourself upwards this time. Lifting the hips off of your mat. Curl your toes under. Press back to downward facing dog. Just give this a quick little chance to walk out through your calves. Not too much time there. Just start to bring your feet to your hands and your hands to your feet. Come into a nice easy fold. Don't spend too long there. Just start to bring yourself up to standing. Take your time getting up here. We're going to come into high lunge. So if you're able to be up on your back toes, it's going to allow you to get the biggest stretch to the front of the thigh. I'm on the wrong side. Okay, so take your right leg forward and your left foot back. You want to try to be on your back toes. We won't be here for very long. You can maybe just keep your hands at the front of your hips. So feel your hips going forward. If you feel good with your balance, you might reach the arms up. Make sure those hips are going forward. Just take a big breath in. And then go ahead and take your hands down to your hips. So we are going to transition the back heel down now. Just make sure you don't have one foot crossed behind the other. You want that little bit of space. And then you're going to pull your right thigh bone towards your back foot and just lean forward a little bit. Just take a breath in and a breath out. And then start to lift yourself back up. You can leave your hands at your hips. We're going to go in one more time. Go ahead and straighten your leg for just a moment to give it a rest. And then as you bend into the knee, be sure that your knee faces over your second toe. You're going to either keep your hands at your hips or reach them behind you, interlace your fingers, and then take your heart forward again. Make sure that your right thigh bone is going towards your left foot, your back foot, and then see if you can let the heart open up and stretch forward. Take a breath in and a breath out. Draw your belly in, lift all the way up. Release your hands, bring them to your heart. Step forward, little visit into chair pose. You can take as many steps as you like. You're just going to reach those hips back for a moment, stand all the way up, and relax your arms down. I'm going to take the other side. So you're going to take your left foot forward. You're going to take your right foot back. You're going to try to be on your toes so everything faces forward. We're just going to give this as the opportunity to stretch out the fronts of the thighs. You can keep the hands at the hips if that helps you to balance. You can lift the arms up if you're feeling a little bit more spicy. Brief visit, big inhale. And then go ahead and take the hands down to your hips, and you're going to turn your back heel down without crossing it back and behind you. So front knees over the front toe. We're going to take a quick visit, practicing our hip drawing back in humble warrior. We aren't quite humble. We're just like not overly egotistical warrior. And then draw your belly and lift it up, and take your hands back behind you, interlace your fingers, or just leave them right there. You can, work through that balance space. And then you've got this big chest stretch. You're going to take that big chest stretch bravely forward towards your front thigh without letting your hip abandon ship. You really want to draw that hip back towards the back foot. Let the heart open up and expand here. Take a breath in, take a breath out, and then start to draw your belly in. Lift up. Bring your hands to your heart. We're going to step forward, little visit to a chair pose. Doesn't have to be a long visit. Just get on both feet, rest both hips back, and then go ahead and stand up. I'm going to take the legs out pretty wide here. And turn your right toes all the way over towards the right. You're going to turn the left toes in a little bit too. And you're going to bend into the right leg, find warrior two. Turn your heart forward towards your right fingertips. Relax the left hand down to your thigh and lift the heart up to your fingertips, peaceful warrior. Don't go back. Lift that heart up and out. Deep breath in. Exhale, reach it forward. Bring your right elbow down to your thigh. Make sure that this thigh is still going towards the back foot. Take your left arm up and over. Reach the ears away from your shoulders. You're going to relax this left shoulder forward just a bit so that it's not stuck into the spine. But then to be sure that we're not hiding the heart, we're just going to spiral that heart up a little bit more. High obliques. Finish your exhale. Stand all the way up. Bring your hands back to your hips. Straighten your legs. Turn all 10 toes to face forward. Feel a little lift to the front of your hips. You're going to lean the weight forward towards your toes. I'm not in a back bend. I'm just making sure I'm opening up the front of the hips. And then lift the arms up. Relax the shoulders. Lift from the front of the hips up through the fingertips. Breathe in. Exhale, open those arms out. Start to switch your feet over towards the left side. So you're going to turn those left toes over all the way. The right toes go in a bit, bend into your left leg. Make sure that your knee is going over your toe. Relax your right arm down. Turn your heart towards your hand. And then use the heart to offer your hand upwards. Maybe your gaze goes up. Keep letting that heart inflate up into the front of your ribs. Good. One more big breath in, expand. As you exhale, reaching forward, bringing your elbow down and then taking that top arm up and over, not over your ear or behind your head, but over your nose, maybe towards the front of your head, ears out of shoulders, thigh towards back foot. You're going to keep the arm forward, but turn the heart open a little bit. Good. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And draw the belly and lift all the way back up. Hands to the hips, straighten the legs, turn all 10 toes to face forward. I'm going to take the hands behind the back. You're either going to hold hands onto your hips or hold hands behind your back, giving yourself another opportunity to release these shoulders. I would recommend keeping slightly bent elbows, especially at this point, so you can really start to expand that chest without bothering the elbow joints, and then start to come forward towards a fold. If this arm position is not serving you, you bring your hands down to the legs or towards the floor or back to your hips. If you've got your arms back behind you at your hips or interlaced with your fingers, you're going to reach the elbows away from your head. Take a breath in. We'll all soften with the exhale. Release the hands to the hips. And then start to draw the belly in and come all the way back up. Bring your feet in nice and close together. I'm going to take your right foot and you're going to turn it over so that you're on the top of your foot. So you're on the toenail side, just like we were in Cobra pose. Try to stand on your front foot. Now bring your hands to the front of your hips And just let those hips move forward. This back leg might get straight, it might not. It doesn't really matter at this point. We're just going to try to ease the opening of the front of the body. Breathing in. Exhale. Take the foot down. Switch sides. Make sure I'm not weirdly in a shadow here. Okay. Nope. So we've got that leg. I could have it bent, and I also could sit into this hip. It's fine to have it bent, but don't sit into that front hip. I'm going to keep lifting, and my weight is in the foot that is standing in the supportive way, not in the weird, nowhere near as strong way of that back foot. Lift the front of your hips. Take a breath in, a breath out. Release both feet down. Wiggle your hips a little bit. I'm going to take your right foot and cross it back behind your left foot now. And then take the arms up, hold onto your right wrist. And you're going to bring that arm forward so it's in line with your nose and not your ear so that you're more expansive at the back of the heart. Lift the front of the hips and then push the hips gently to the right as you side bend up and over towards the left. The more you push into the back foot, the more stretch to that outer thigh and outer hip you'll get. Big breath in. Big breath out. Lift all the way back up. Release your arms down. Uncross your legs. And just take the shoulders and move them gently in circles backwards. And gently in circles forwards. And then take your left leg and cross it back behind your right leg. You could always have bent legs and feet slightly further apart if that feels better or is better for your balance, your knee joints. Once you find this space, you're going to take the arms up, hold onto your left wrist, move that left wrist slightly forward. We're going to lift up from the front of the hips and then bump the hips over slightly towards the left side so that this right side can open up more. Keep lifting towards that left, so this side. Good. Okay, press into both feet, breathe in, breathe out. Draw up, relax arms, uncross legs. Maybe this time you just close your eyes and notice how it feels to move the shoulders. They don't have to be big movements. And take small shifts, just rolling the shoulders forwards and backwards. And take your arms down, settling into Mountain Pose Tadasana. Let the palms face forward, spread your fingertips out. And you're going to lift your hands about 6 inches out from where they just were. So that's going to probably take a little bit more stretch into the sides of the neck. Keep lifting the front of your hips so that you've got that low belly engagement. And then release your right ear over towards your right shoulder without releasing the left fingertips. In fact, get a little bit more excited through those left fingertips. Maybe you relax the chin down just ever so slightly in case that head dropped back. Finish your breath out. Lift the head back up. Breathe in. Make sure the fronts of the hips are gently lifted. Relax your left ear over towards your left shoulder. Maybe you soften the chin down a little bit. Make sure that those right fingertips are still very active. Breathing in. Breathing out. Lift the head up. Lift the arms up. Lift the front of your hips. Lift your spine. Lift the fingertips. Keep everything lifted here in the front of the body. Take the hands back behind your head. You're going to make a basket for your head with your hands. Try to let the heart rest back. And the head rest back, and the hips and the heart lift up and forward. So the head and the shoulders relax. And the hips and the heart move forward, breathing in. Draw the belly in and up, stand on up. Relax your arms down. So our little movement that we're going to do by the wall is going to be to take dancer's pose. So you might want to have this handy. I would actually recommend taking your hand as far up the wall or as up your spaces feels good, but if you just have like a dresser or something, it's fine to have your hand in. Maybe you just make sure you're standing a little bit longer away if your balance feels good about it. So I'm going to come in, not super close, but able to reach my arm up. So you're going to take your leg, say lift your right leg up, you're going to bend into your knee, you're going to reach back, and if your foot does not catch the inside, or your hand does not catch the inside of your foot, you can have this strap and hold it back there like so. So probably with either one of those, really trying to focus on lifting the inner thighs up so we don't have the knee going out to the side as I fall. And so why take that arm upwards? Can you reach out through that arm and feel your heart lifting? Can you lift your inner thighs from the front of your hips to feel more expansion? And if your knees and your shoulders feel okay with it, can you push that foot back towards your hand to open the front of the shoulder, to expand the body out into space, to not hide behind your shoulders, to let that heart be open and lead you forward. Maybe one more breath in. And then relax the legs. Put the foot down, wiggle things out a little bit. Hold on the bookshelf in the other direction. Here, actually. So you're going to bend into that knee, reaching back and catch your foot. And then you're going to start to push the foot back. Now, if you are doing this, make sure that you're not letting your knee come out towards the side. So we want to still have a lot of space on the outsides of those thighs. We made sure to stretch those out before. You're going to expand through your body. So you might reach that arm forward. Think of taking up as much space as possible. Keep lifting the front of your hips. So it doesn't matter how high the leg comes up. You push the foot into the hand. Is that available to you? One more breath. And then release it slowly, softly. Come on down. And then you're going to come to stand fairly close to your wall, or if you have a bookshelf, you're just going to come and stand maybe a little bit, not quite down dog space. You're going to press your hands forward. If you've got a wall, if you've got a little bit more space, you're going to take the hands as far up the wall as feels good to you. So if your shoulders are a little cranky, you're just going to walk back and have the hands a little bit lower. You're just going to push your hands into the wall. Maybe a slight bend in the elbows so that the elbows point down. Push the hands into the wall. Relax the tailbone down towards your heels. Push the hands out into the wall. Relax the tailbone down towards your heels. And then take the hands down so that they're more in line with your hips. We're going to come into a downward dog at the wall. Pushing your hands into the wall. Pushing your tailbone away from the wall. Feel free to have bent knees here to relax your hamstrings. Reach from the backs of the shoulders out into your hands. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Draw the belly in, look forward, walk your feet forward, come to stand up. And then one last thing, while we're standing, we're going to take a twisting chair. I'm going to turn slightly to the side here. I'm going to bring my toes together to touch, even though sometimes we give them a little bit more space. I'm going to bend the knees and sit the hips back. Make sure I'm sitting on both feet. Bring the hands to the heart. Breathe in. Exhale, twist over towards the right side. If your elbow does not touch your thigh, you're going to bring your hands onto your thigh and your hip. Now, the elbow that's on the thigh, you're going to make a fist. Both fists will come together. If you have only the arm on the thigh, still make a fist. Make this strong, powerful gesture to spiral your heart into the twist. Make sure both hips sit back. So this might be here, or it might be that more open space I just showed. Breathing in, breathing out. Hands to hips, heart forward. stand up. Separate your feet. Rock your hips gently side to side. And then come into the other side. So you're going to take your feet close together, bend into your knees, sit your hips back, bring your hands to your heart. Breathe in. Long spine. Exhale, soft belly. Elbow down to the knee, making fists, or fists down to the outside and hand on the hip, and you're going to push the right arm down to open your heart out to the left. Keep softening the belly back and the hips back. One more breath in. One more breath out. Look forward, release your elbow, hands to your hips, stand up. Bring your feet a little bit further apart and rock your hips a little bit side to side. We're going to come down to sitting on the ground. You might grab a cushion to sit on that. It helps you feel a little bit more open when you're in a seat. So take your time coming down there. I'm just going to bring the legs out nice and open. Giving the shoulders some wiggles when you get there. And when you find yourself in that seat, it's going to take the right leg in to some capacity. So you might even just take that foot in a little bit. If that feels like a lot, if that's bad with your knee, just go ahead and leave the leg extended. If it's okay with your hip to open the knee out and bring the foot in, you'll come here, or you can leave the leg extended. So I'm going to draw the left toes up towards my shin, and then I'm going to reach my left fingertips down towards the left foot and reach the right arm up and over my nose. I'm going to relax the right hip down and then spiral the heart up and open. Breathing in, reach out through the fingertips. Breathing out, reach down through that right hip. Draw the belly in and back up to the center. Just take a little twist over that bent leg, just a small one. Back up towards the center, and then we're going to switch the legs so that we'll have either both legs in or that left foot will come in. So draw those right toes up, reach your right arm down, and then the left arm will go up and over. So I've got this small shadow to my face, and I want to remove the shadow by opening the heart up, relaxing the left hip down. Noticing if there's tension between the arm and the face here. Maybe I relax that shoulder a bit more, breathing in. Heavy hip as you exhale. Draw the belly in. Come all the way up. Take a small twist over the left side. Relax into your breath. Come back to the center. And then go ahead and extend both legs out in front of you. Starting with the hands back, letting the heart float up, drawing the toes, maybe rolling the knees up a little bit more towards the ceiling. If this feels good, staying there. If you'd like to try to take the heart first forward, you can start to do that. Just make sure that you don't come to that point where you're sinking the shoulders forward instead of leading with that strong chest. So even if you're here and you're strong, just kind of embracing that space in the body. A few more breaths. And start to draw yourself back up. Release the legs. And then take the cushion out from underneath you if you want to have it handy to go underneath your knees later. You might have it there. I'm going to take the hands back behind the hips quite a bit, bending into the elbows. Let the feet come out nice and wide. And then just gently let the knees maneuver side to side without letting the heart fall down in between the shoulders. So you're going to try to lift it up. Go one more time each side. Then come back to the center. And you're going to take your elbows down so that you're resting on those forearms. Wiggle a little bit on your hips until you feel the tailbone pointing down and not over at your feet. And then push down on the forearms until the heart floats up. If it feels comfortable, you can let the head go back. It's not necessary. Let that heart inflate and open and rise up towards the front of your ribs. Breathing in. Soften the heart now as you breathe out. Go ahead and relax the chin towards your chest. Roll that spine all the way down onto the mat. Let your arms drop down. Bring your feet just a little bit closer towards your hips. Let the knees fall against each other. If you're feeling tightness in your back, you can make a small couple of inches. Slide side to side in the knees. So not all the way down to the ground, but just moving in such a way that the back gets a gentle massage as it becomes acquainted with the earth or your hardwood or what have you. And start to settle in the center if you've been moving a bit. Take your right leg up in the air, make some circles with your ankle in one direction, circling in the other direction. Draw your right toes up towards your shin and keep the foot flexed like that. Put the right ankle on the left knee. You can stay here, gently pressing that right thigh forward and rooting both hips down. Sometimes when we do that, you roll over towards one hip. Can you keep both hips even? Or if it feels interesting to you, you can take the right arm in between the legs and hold on to the left thigh. And then notice if you've got one or the other hip that's taking more of this shape. Can you gently explore where center would be? Where the balance between these hips would be? Notice if your shoulders are rising up and forward. Is that just because the arm bones need to come forward, or is there any unnecessary tension in those shoulders going forward? What does breathing into that space change for you? Breathing in, breathing out. Release your hands if you've got them there. Keep the right ankle on the left knee. We're going to put the left foot down. Bring your hands to your hips. And you're just going to take a little twist of your legs going over towards the left. And then come back to the center. Once more. I'm only going probably about 6 or 8 inches over towards the left. Come back to the center. And then unwind that leg. Just go ahead and take both feet down to the floor. Bring them together this time. Just let both knees roll over towards the left side. Maybe relax your arms open. Breathing in. Breathing out. As you inhale, take the knees back up. Just one exhale over towards the right side, little counter twist. And then bringing the knees back up towards the center. We'll take the left leg up in the air and then make some circles around the left ankle. And circling in the other direction as well. And flexing the foot, drawing the toes up towards the shin and placing the left ankle, still foot flexed on the right knee. And staying here, trying to find balance in the pelvis, just being inquisitive of where the hips are at today. Where is the weight at? What do we feel here? If it's valuable on your body, you might reach the left arm in between and grab onto the right thigh. And if it's not valuable in your body, you remain elsewhere. You remain in your breath. You remain in the balanced hips. Maybe there's a different pose that you choose. Sometimes it feels nice to have the feet down and the knees open. Maybe that feels like a better hip opener in your body. Maybe you don't need any more hip openers right now. Breathing in. Breathing out. Keep the ankle on the knee, release the hands, drop the right foot back down. And then you're going to take the arms just comfortably open, not very far, and only about 6 or 8 inches. Roll the knees over towards the right. That foot comes over a little bit more, and then draw the belly and bring it back up. Exhale. Bring that shape over towards the right just a bit. And then draw it back up. I think we did 3 on the other side. If I'm wrong, you can stop. And then draw the legs back up. We're gonna unwind the left knee, left ankle, and place the left foot down next to the right foot. So the knees will be towards each other. We're just gonna take both knees and relax them all the way over towards the right side, finding a twist. You can open your arms as much as you like. Breathing in. Breathing out. Bringing the knees up. Just one exhale, soft twist over towards the left. Bringing the legs back to the middle. And starting to draw both knees into your chest. Giving yourself a little hug. A gentle rock side to side. You can stay here or start to open the knees more and reach up to hold the feet or the ankles or the backs of the knees, finding happy baby. You might rock gently side to side. You might be in stillness. Thinking if there's anything else that you need to finish off your practice, whether it's more twisting, another leg stretch or heart opener. Maybe you do a bridge pose if you really feel like that's needed right now. If you're not sure what is needed, then trust that rest is the next step in your practice. So begin to release the legs, either leaving them bent or taking a cushion underneath your knees, or nothing at all. Maybe you sit in a chair or on your couch, or extend your legs up a little bit higher. If you're laying on your back, letting your arms come down by your sides, taking just a very gentle snuggle of shoulder blades towards each other underneath the heart. Not enough to jam into the spine, but enough to give a little bit more lift to your big, beautiful, brave heart. And as you settle into this rest, breathing in this open, compassionate space, rest very well. start to come back to your body, back to your breath. As you begin to bring more awareness in, start to make some small movements. Bend into your knees, take your time rolling over to one side if you're still laying down. With care and softness, giving yourself plenty of space to start to come up into a comfortable seat. And that seat, of course, just being a steady place for you to rest. It doesn't need to look like yoga. You can hop up on the couch. Bring your hands to your heart. And let the heart open and rise. Continuing all of this good work that we've cultivated with opening this powerful, brave, loving space. Sealing our practice with one Om. Deep breath in. Bowing down to the love and the light that does in fact reside within each of us. Namaste.
Thank you, April.
Thank
you.
Namaste.
everyone.
Thank you so much.
I wanted to tell you, April, that after you and I had that conversation about the warrior, when I've been doing the warrior postures at home, I think of me being a warrior against the virus and against disease and, and breathing in the new clean air. So it was interesting that you brought up that you'd been thought about what you told me, and it was really helpful. It felt really powerful. Thank you.
Good. I was so glad.
Yeah. I was thinking, gosh, you can be a warrior against whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yes.
You.
And I have a wish for you all. Would you cross your fingers at about 2:30? I have an important phone call with somebody about a dog park.
All right.
And I've been working on this for a couple of years. And after this conversation, I'm going to decide whether to hang it up or to proceed.
Okay.
So I need support.
Okay.
So positive thoughts, dog park.
Dog
Got
park.
it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See you later, alligators.
Bye, everyone. Take
Let's
care.
see. Leave.